Hi everyone, my name is Carylyne and I head marketing at CoinMarketCap. So, do I have the clicker? Sorry, one sec. I just need the clicker. But just an intro for those of you who might not know, so CoinMarketCap is the #1 info site in the world. So we started in 2013 as a project for the community when we realized that there was no real way to value other cryptocurrencies versus Bitcoin. So along the way, we coined some pretty interesting terms that you guys would probably know. So market cap is definitely one of it. So as you can tell from the name CoinMarketCap, we also coined the term circulating supply, which we borrowed from the equities world for public float. And also Bitcoin dominance, which is basically a percentage of Bitcoin market cap versus the entire market cap of all cryptocurrencies. So we've always been pretty focused on being the independent data provider, really focused on being unbiased and also kind of the data standard in the crypto space. So today I want to share with you some interesting data that we have on the CoinMarketCap site, and also how we think about moving forward the business of crypto data. So I think one of the most interesting things at CoinMarketCap is data that we don't really put on the site. So on the site we have price data, volume data, exchange data, things like that. But on like the metadata that we have would be the site traffic that we get, right? So just last year we had about 3.6 billion page views and about 125 million active users on the site. So that gives us a pretty good sense of where everyone's at and also what they're interested in. So if I break it down a little bit further, about 36% of our traffic's from the Americas, followed by Europe, Asia, and then the rest of the world. So you can see that geographically it's pretty spread out, and they're just crypto enthusiasts and also crypto investors everywhere around the world. So if I break it down a little bit more even by user base, the top 10 is like US at the top spot. And then at number 5, there's Vietnam. So Vietnam is pretty interesting. It has a big base of people who are interested in crypto. They're young and they're tech savvy. So we can see that kind of along the way, lots of Vietnamese people became really interested in cryptocurrencies. And then I guess another interesting one is at number 10 is Turkey. So as you can tell, like Turkey last year, they had a debt and currency crisis. So their currency, the Turkish lira, actually got inflated. So that actually led to quite a lot of people going to buying Bitcoin instead to kind of hedge out the risk of their own currencies. So that was a pretty interesting development as far as kind of understanding how global or geopolitical issues can have an impact on the adoption and use of cryptocurrencies. So another one, case in point is of course Venezuela. So they're actually 31 by number of users on CoinMarketCap. So I think that's actually pretty high considering everything. So Venezuela, I think, also has their own kind of hyperinflation issues. So it was actually interesting to see how that's translated to use of the site, and so just in general what they're interested in on CoinMarketCap. And then one that was super interesting and probably surprising was apparently last year we had about 96 users from North Korea. So that was an interesting stat that I discovered as I was looking through some of the data on this site. And it does vary by country. When we kind of zoom down to like Hong Kong, so Hong Kong is actually 4th in the East Asia region for number of users. So of course the top is like China, and then Japan, Korea, and South Korea, and then Hong Kong is 4th in the East Asia region. So some of the questions we had internally are how different is the Hong Kong interest from the global audience. So if you look at the left for the international interests, you see that a lot of the usual suspects are there, like XRP, Bitcoin, Tron, and so on. And then on the Hong Kong side, it's pretty much the same names, except for Decred. So I think that was the one interesting one that stood out in the top 10. So it does vary from country to country. For example, kind of going back to Vietnam, when I looked at what they were most interested in last year, in fact, at number 5, it was BitConnect. So that was pretty interesting and indicative. So I asked some Vietnamese friends, like, why is that so? And they say, well, because Vietnamese people love to gamble, so it is indicative of why they are, kind of interested in more kind of high return, high yield type of cryptocurrencies. So from country to country, that does vary a lot. And on the other hand, that's retail interest, and we also have a good sense of institutional interest. So on the institutional side and regulatory side, we actually see many of these clients are using our data to start exploring cryptocurrencies in their own time and in their own space. So kind of crypto blockchain projects that they're pioneering internally, they're using a lot of data to kind of backtest and also to verify what their assumptions are about the space. So we're actually working with a data provider called Velar, who's our partner, to deliver a super feed to many of these institutions. So we allowed kind of like institutions and regulators to use our data in a more familiar format. So you're kind of building on the Open Mama framework, as well as putting it on trading venues that are closest to them and most familiar to them. So in our own way, we're trying to make it easier for people to access some of the crypto data that we have at CoinMarketCap. So if we want to look at how people are using the data, I think for the regulator side, a lot of it is really trying to find out, doing internal and external research about where the space is going to inform policy decisions, to mitigate risk, to better understand what the opportunities are, kind of in relation to the greater financial market. For most of the countries that are interested in cryptocurrencies. And on the other end, with companies, institutions, a lot of it's about building products, whether that's like back office solutions to front-facing products, things like blockchain phones, educating users, things like that. So those are kind of concrete use cases that we see from kind of users of our API. And other use cases to use our data to create their own crypto derivatives or products like the indices. So speaking of indices, we actually are going to announce our own cryptocurrency benchmark indices. So what that means is we will start with two headline indices. One is the CMC200, which is basically top 200 cryptocurrencies by market capitalization, one including Bitcoin and one excluding Bitcoin. So actually, the one that includes Bitcoin already takes up more than 90% of the market cap, represents more than 90% of the market cap just with that one index alone. So to deliver this, we actually are partnering with someone called Selective. So our partner, they're a German index engineering firm, so they calculate the CBOE Bitcoin Futures Index as well. So we are working with them to be able to deliver a scientific and also kind of well administered and also kind of down to the letter calculation of the indices. So for us, pioneering the concept of market cap, it's really important to us that we have a partner that's able to calculate and administer an index that people can trust is independently verified and also held up to the standards that we are known for in this space. So some people actually ask us, why do we even need an index in the first place? So for almost every asset class in the financial market, there is a benchmark. So that is a way for people to be able to get a quick sense of where the market is at just by looking at a single number. So for example, if you're new to the crypto space, you might think 130 billion plus minus is about the market cap that people are used to in this market. But you wouldn't know at a glance that actually last year we probably are about 900 billion in terms of market cap total. So I think an index is a really good way for people to get a quick sense of that. So they would be able to have a greater intuitive understanding of the performance of the market and probably make it easier for them to digest and also kind of work with that number to figure out what they want to do with cryptocurrencies in their own portfolios. So in a sense, the way that we think about it is an index is the first step for us to bring that data to the wider financial market. So people who are familiar with the idea of benchmarks and indices will be able to use it to factor into their own investing decisions, and they will be able to better understand at a glance how that entire market asset class is going. So previously without a cryptocurrency benchmark like this, which is more all-encompassing, it's actually probably a little bit more difficult for them to take that into account in a really quick way and actually to be able to report that quickly to people who do make the decisions. So in a sense, with indices, we would be able to provide that perspective and also help them to make those decisions and hopefully bring more interest and also more awareness of crypto to the wider financial market. So for us, this is definitely just the initial step. We will have more indices, we'll have investable indices, things like that. So if you are interested in finding out more about how we can work together to build indices or custom indices based on our data, we'd be more than happy to talk to you. We do have a booth outside, so do come and talk to us. We do have people there. We'll be able to answer your questions about the indices, how they're being calculated, how we can help to bring that to your own kind of financial products that you want to bring to market. So thanks a lot, and also don't forget to join some of our Telegram groups and things like that. So look forward to chatting with you soon.